Legend of Zelda is one of my favorite game series of all time. I've spent countless hours venturing in Hyrule in the many iterations it saw. I've explored the Great Sea, I flew my Loftwing in the sky, I did pretty much everything I wanted to do there. The latest game in the series, Breath of the Wild, was pretty much my favorite game of the year since its launch, and I have spent a lot of hours playing it. Lately, a lot of people requested me to do my list of the favorite Zelda games ever, so hey, this is what I'll be doing today. I'm Nico, and here's my top 10 Zelda games. Let's start off the list with one of the most controversial Zelda game ever, Skyward Sword for the Wii. It seems to have created two different clans, those who love the game and those who can't stand it. Personally, I find the game to be enjoyable, but it has a lot of flaws. The game has a strong emphasis on motion controls. You can't randomly attack enemies in this one, instead you have to swing your sword the right way to defeat that enemy. I guess the best example is the Deku Babas. Some of them open their mouth horizontally and other vertically, and you know, you gotta swing your sword the right way. You see, that's easy when you see that. Well, personally, I wasn't a fan of that system. It made the game slower and less enjoyable for me. The story, on the other hand, is pretty good, and I found myself to want to keep playing the game just in order to find out what was gonna happen next. The game features tons of cool characters, and the different dungeons are pretty fun. So, Skyward Sword is a pretty good game, and you guys should totally play it. I'm a fan of the Toon Link design used in the Wind Waker, so when they announced a sequel to this game on the Nintendo DS, I was sold. Phantom Hourglass is a very different Zelda game. You don't control Link using your D-pad, instead you gotta use the stylus to point where you want Link to go. You tap on enemies to attack, and you can also draw on maps, take notes, and do a lot of stuff with your stylus actually. This is the main mechanic of the game, playing with the stylus. And you know what? As gimmicky as it may sound, it's actually pretty original and pretty fun too. You'll go through many dungeons, defeating many bosses, and getting the classic Zelda items you're used to at the same time. Some items are actually better controlled with the stylus. I'm a fan of the boomerang item. You can actually draw the pattern you want it to move, and it's gonna follow the line. That's pretty original. I dislike the fact that you gotta go through the Temple of the Ocean King over and over again after every main dungeons, but I mean, that's only a minor detail to me. I really like this game. Link's Awakening is the first Zelda game I played on a handheld, and coming from Ocarina of Time, this one was very different. First off, the story is a little bit weird, okay? Link is on a boat, then he crashes on an island, and now he has to recover a bunch of music instruments to wake the magic whale or whatever. Don't get fooled by its look though, this game is seriously really good. The temples are pretty well designed, and the items you find in the game are pretty cool too. It also features a couple of cool moments, you know, like this part where you have a chain chomp glued to you, and it's actually the only way to enter the temple. I mean, you thought capturing chain chomps in Mario Odyssey was cool? Link's Awakening did that years ago. The bosses are also pretty fun to kill, and the game features a couple of fun side quests, like taking cool pictures like these. So I'd recommend you pick it up. I have a love-hate relationship with this next game on the list. As much as I want to love Twilight Princess, it has so many flaws that prevent me from putting it higher on the list. The premise is pretty cool. There's a Twilight Realm where you turn into a wolf. Wow, that's amazing. What can I do as a wolf? Oh, collect Tears of Light and kill bugs. Yay. All jokes aside, I feel like Twilight Princess really starts shining after the third temple, where you can actually freely switch between Wolf Link and Human Link. The temples become more creative and ask you to actually switch between your two forms to complete them, and that's pretty intense. I feel like Nintendo wanted to create Ocarina of Time too, and that's what they try to do with Twilight Princess. Sadly, I think they kinda missed the point of what actually made Ocarina fun, but it doesn't stop the fact that this is a good Zelda game, just not a masterpiece. Since I grew up with the SNES, you'd think this would be my first Zelda game, but it actually wasn't. I only played A Link to the Past later down the line in my life, and I still wonder why I waited for so long to play such an amazing game. It features everything you expect from a Zelda game: amazing dungeons, great items, good story, and one of the best world map ever. Seriously, exploring Hyrule is super fun in A Link to the Past, and when you think you're done exploring everything, you are sent to the Dark World, and boom, a brand new map appears. The first time I saw that second world, I was mind blown. This game also features a bunch of side quests and side items that you don't really have to collect in order to finish the story, but that you should definitely plan on getting. The game has seen a couple of re-releases on other platforms, so you really have no excuse to not play A Link to the Past. This next game had a funny development story. After completing development on Ocarina of Time, well, Miyamoto and Aonuma had a little challenge between them: create a new Zelda game in a single year. And thus, Majora's Mask was born. Its main mechanic is the 3-day cycle. As opposed to pretty much all other games in this franchise, in Majora's Mask, all NPCs have a schedule they respect. They actually don't stand at one place forever, they actually live their life. That leads to a lot of opportunities for character development. Now, all of the citizens of Clock Town actually have a goal and a meaning for their existence. In Majora's Mask, you're pressured by the clock. You cannot waste too much time, because in 3 days the moon will crash on the earth and destroy everything. It's a good thing you have the Ocarina of Time and can actually go back in time all you want. One of the main complaints I hear about this title is the fact that it only has 4 main dungeons. And I get that, but I believe that all 4 temples are pretty detailed, as opposed to some of the later dungeons in, let's say, Ocarina of Time. This game's main focus are the masks you can wear to do all sorts of things. There's the 3 transformation mask, turning you into Deku, Goron, and Zora Link, unlocking those species' special abilities. But there's also many masks with other abilities. For example, the bunny hood allows you to run super fast, so you know, that's pretty good considering you only have 3 days to finish the game. This Zelda game is super different and in a good way, which is why it has a special place on this list. A Link Between Worlds tried a bunch of new things, but in a known environment. Let me explain what I mean. This game takes place in the same Hyrule as A Link to the Past, but it introduced a bunch of new mechanics. First off, you can take on the dungeons in any order you want, because you don't actually get the key items from the dungeons. Instead, you rent those items from Ravio's shop, some sort of bunny hood wearing strange dude. This game also introduced a new mechanic in which you can turn yourself into a painting and walk on walls. This leads to many opportunities to explore new areas that you couldn't go to without this ability. The bosses in A Link Between Worlds are also super fun to defeat, and I'd say playing this game is really enjoyable. It is not very difficult, but that's a good thing, since it's an easy game to start your Zelda career with if you still haven't played any Zelda game to this day. When Nintendo revealed the art style for this game, people were mad. I remember it so well. People expected a Zelda game with the Ocarina of Time art style, but instead, Nintendo went with the cel shading style we have now grown to love. Don't get fooled by its cutesy look. The Wind Waker is a very solid Zelda game. You'll spend a lot of time on your boat, exploring many islands, finding treasures underwater, and finding secrets all over the world. See, that's one thing I like the most about this game, the fact that you can find so many things on so many islands. You really felt like a pirate exploring the Great Sea. The game doesn't feature a lot of dungeons, kinda like Majora's Mask, but all of the dungeons will lead you to do some great things, especially the last 2 main dungeons in which you can control a side character with you. The Wind Waker got remastered on the Wii U and introduced a couple of new elements, like the fast sail, which makes your boat travel way faster. Seriously, this game is super fun and you should definitely give it a try. First revealed in 2014, Zelda Breath of the Wild already looked very promising. And it didn't disappoint. It is a rebirth of the Zelda franchise, which was kinda turning stale over the years. This game allows you to do anything you want in any order you want to. It's the first true open world Zelda game, and to be honest, I'd love to see more Zelda games like this one in the future. The game left the traditional temple formulas and instead introduced shrines, which are mini dungeons. There's more than 100 shrines and they all introduce different puzzle elements. Some will require you to rotate the controller using motion controls, others will face you against strong enemies, and others require you to use your abilities to complete them. The game also has 4 main dungeons, which are all kind of fun but on the short side. The bosses were not as creative as previous Zelda games, but I guess that's the price to pay to get a super vast open world adventure. But you know what? There's one Zelda game that I believe is even better than Breath of the Wild. I am going to be the most unoriginal guy in the entire galaxy right now, but you know, my #1 Zelda game of all time is Ocarina of Time. This timeless classic has everything the Legend of Zelda series need. Great controls, amazing story, epic bosses, interesting dungeons, tons of side quests. I love everything about this game. Like, I cannot even count how many times I played this game in its entirety. I own the game on the Nintendo 64, I own it on the GameCube twice, I own it on the Wii's Virtual Console, I own the Nintendo 3DS remake, and heck, if they re-release it for the Switch, I'll get it again! That's how good this game is! Ocarina of Time defined the Zelda formula for over 20 years. Now sure, the formula is evolving with the open world take that Breath of the Wild introduced, but before that game, every Zelda game strived to be Ocarina of Time. It is a masterpiece, it's a classic, it's so good, and if you haven't played this game for yourself, go get it and play it right now. Thanks a lot for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed my list, and tell me what top 10s would you like to see me cover in the future. Just tell me in the comments and I'll do them at one point for sure. Tap on a card for more videos right now, and I'll see you next time.